you ever thought of the struggles that others had to go through just to receive an education that you receive for free? Most immigrated students go to low-poverty schools and get a low-level education. 52% of undocumented immigrants have a high school diploma. There are 6 states that are home to the majority of these immigrants. Number 1, with 22% of the nation's immigrant population live in California, with Texas and Florida following. Low-poverty schools are starting to have a big population because of the immigrated students that are attending. Although there are programs that help these schools that attend, it is a struggle for these students to get an education that they came to the U.S. to receive. There are a lot of low-income children that need help financially. Most immigrated students go to low-poverty schools. This is because low-income Hispanic students are more likely to live in a middle-class neighborhood, which leads to them going to a public school. These students are allowed to use a student visa to go to a public school, but are only allowed to use it for 1 year, and it has to be in high school. There are 3 different types of visas. F1 visa, which is for academic studies and allows them to maintain the minimum course load for full-time students. This also allows them to have a part-time on-campus job, which helps them financially. They are expected to complete their studies by the expiration date of the I-20 form, which is the certificate of eligibility for non-immigrant students. J1 visa is for practical training, and this is for immigrant students that need to obtain practical training that is not available in their home country or where they come from. N1 visas are for students that are going to attend a non-academic school, but they must have evidence that they're going to pay for the school before they even attend because they don't get help financially. Many people believe that low-income children are better off when they come to the U.S. to get an education. This seems to be true not right away, but over time. In an article that I read, which was called "No, a Majority of U.S. Public School Students Are Not in Poverty" by Alex Tabarrok, he talks about how poverty has increased and immigration can be one of the reasons why. Then he states a higher poverty rate caused by the immigration of more low-income children is compatible with everyone becoming better off over time, and that not necessarily being a bad thing. Meaning that although immigrant students do come and make the poverty rate increase, through time they do receive an education and better themselves off in the future. There are many programs that help immigrated students receive the education that they strive to obtain. One of the first is the ESEA Act, which is the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, and this program offers grants to districts serving low-income students, federal grants for textbooks and library books, and funding for educational centers and scholarships for low-income college students. In the McKinney-Vento Act, it gives educational stability for homeless children in need. In regard to this act, the Plyer v. Joe trial ruled that undocumented children and young adults have the same rights to attend public primary and secondary schools as do U.S. students. These 2 acts in one trial are a big contribution to how the education system is today and how the U.S. allows immigrants to get an education that they could not receive elsewhere. Although there are a lot of things that immigrated students can do and programs that help them succeed in school, there are still restrictions that limit them from getting an education in the United States. I personally believe that anyone can succeed in life, even if there are a little bit of obstacles that someone has to overcome.